This is Ain't No Way MMA. I'm your host, Caitlin, and once again, we are with Gabriel, who is going to be ranting about UFC 310, this time about the prelims instead of just the early prelims. The first topic of today is going to be Brian Battle versus Randy Brown. And honestly, Brian Battle is probably the only fight I'm excited about for this.
What?
Leave me alone.
The only fight?
After he beat the French dude, I don't care. He is like a fucking rock star. That's all I care. I hate the French, so that's good for me.
Super agreed, but also the only fight? The only fight.
Correct.
You don't want to see Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith? On paper, Anthony Smith is the greatest fighter of all time. Don't forget this. Uncle Smith is the GOAT. No. The only fight?
The one that I know the most about. Because I think Brian Battle's story also really resonates with me.
Absolutely.
Where I think I just relate to him a lot more and am more invested in whether or not he wins or loses.
Big fan of Brian Battle. Brian Battle, Randy Brown. This is going to be Brian Battle's biggest test to date. Randy Brown's on a 3-fight win streak. I think it's 2 finishes in a unanimous decision. The way Brian Battle fights versus Randy Brown. Randy Brown's pick him apart, fight from distance type of fighter, which is really interesting against a guy like Brian Battle, who's all pressure, absolute gas, no brakes, and he's gonna attempt to break Randy Brown. And people have done it in the past, but Randy Brown is a really good finisher. I mean, this cat is slick. He's got the front kicks, he's got the spinning kicks, he's got great distance management, and the way he utilizes his tools is second to none. I think he's amazing in the welterweight division. He would be ranked if it didn't happen to be like. He actually might be ranked. He might have just gotten ranked, but he's barely top 15 if he is ranked. I don't think he is. Don't quote me on that, though. But the way Randy Brown's fights is on the outside, and Brian Battle's all pressure. So it's going to be pressure makes diamonds, or he's going to get folded. It's one or the other. My prediction is Brian Battle's second round TKO. He might drag it to the third and get the TKO, but I don't think he'll knock out Randy Brown cold. That's pretty hard to do. Rude Boy's got a chin and a half. But I think with his cardio and everything like that, it won't hold up the way it usually does with a guy like Brian Battle on him. He's going to be moving back the entire time, throwing kicks, trying to snap something into his face that gets him to push back, and Brian Battle won't do it. I'm leaning Brian Battle. I wouldn't be extremely surprised if I saw Randy Brown with the finish, but I definitely lean for Brian Battle.
Do you think this fight goes to decision? Is there a world where it does?
There is a world where it does, and they would both be pretty messed up unless Brian Battle's really cautious overall, which I don't see him being. He usually throws caution to the wind. He has with almost every fight he's ever done, and that's what makes him so entertaining. So I don't see him just dropping the style for a guy like Randy Brown, but it could be really interesting. I mean, I love Brian Battle, honestly. He's like my favorite prospect in the welterweight division, other than maybe someone like Michael Morales, Spider-Man, aka undefeated Ecuadorian himself.
Oh, and as a side tangent, Randy Brown is ranked number 16.
Oh my God, he's one out. I knew he was close, and I didn't think he was ranked. I was perfectly on the dot. But this is Brian Battle's submission to the top 15. If he impresses, he absolutely gets a top 15 fight next, coming off a 3-fight win streak. It should be 4. He beat the shit out of Andre Lusa. We remember that. And then, the no contest eye poke thing. Oh my God, I hate Andre Lusa. He was getting mollywopped, and he wanted a way out, and he found it. But regardless, 3-fight winning streak for Brian Battle, so it'll be really interesting coming into this one.
Next up, we're going to be discussing Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar Evliyev.
So we got the 2 decision monsters themselves. Aljamain gets finishes sometimes, and he gets finished sometime too. He's been knocked out a few times, I think twice or thrice. But Aljamain, in my opinion, actually gets this done. I'm going to break down why. Aljamain Sterling, second to none grappling. He's still a weight bully for 145. This kid should be in lightweight, honestly, because I swear, he looks big every division he's ever been in. He could be a welterweight. No, he couldn't. I'm joking, but he honestly looks like he'd be a welterweight. He's big as hell for his division. And the way he utilizes his strengths are really great. He has good stand-up. It's good pressure-based volume stand-up, but he uses it in a way that if he has to get counter-struck against, he usually gets caught. So guys like Marlon Moraes and Sean O'Malley were able to catch him out, knock him out cold. I don't think Movsar has any finishing ability whatsoever. He's 8-0 or 7-0 in the UFC, and that's no finishes. He doesn't have a single finish to his professional record in the UFC. Before the UFC, yes, he was fighting cans in Russia. I'm sure he could finish anyone he wanted to out there. But in UFC competition alone, he's never gotten a finish. And there's been guys he's fought that I thought he lost against. He had a split decision against Arnold Allen. I thought Arnold Allen walked him. I thought it was 29-28 very clearly. The more damage was from Arnold Allen, the more pressure. Of course, he got more tired during the later sessions of the round, and he got controlled, but control doesn't outweigh damage. At least the judges should think that, because that's what their official judging criteria is on, but they don't want to listen. So we'll just pretend like that didn't happen, right? But Movsar Evlaev, if he wins this, realistically gets a title shot. Super cringe. Don't want that to happen. But Aljamain Sterling makes his case to be a contender if he wins this. And I think it's more of a case of when he wins this, because I think Movsar Evlaev is just a more boring version of Aljamain Sterling. If we're going band for band on grappling, I've got Aljamain Sterling. Not in the wrestling, but absolutely in the grappling overall. So I think as long as Aljamain Sterling doesn't get Piotr Yond and trip the hell up and on his back the whole round, I think Aljamain controls him for 2 of the 3 rounds, maybe gets his back. And I don't see him getting a finish. I think it's going to decision, but it could be interesting either way with the way it plays out.
Our third prelim of the night is Vicente Luque versus Themba Gorimbo.
First snoozer, in my opinion, of the entire prelims. I think Weidman, Eric Anders could be a snoozer, but I think this has much more potential to be a snoozer. It'll be a decision. Unless Luque literally passes out on the mat again from absolutely nothing like he did against Joaquin Buckley. Of course, Joaquin Buckley hits hard. Of course, he's got good grappling. I love Joaquin Buckley. I'm very glad Numancia's on the rise. But the way he fought against Luque, I mean, he didn't really do that much against Luque, and Luque just shelled up and just ate shots for no reason. He pulled guard. Because he was so injured or hurt or something. I think it has to do with his brain hemorrhaging when he fought about 2 or 3 fights ago. He took time off. I don't remember the exact fighter he fought when he got the brain hemorrhaging, but that fight alone has changed his whole career, in my opinion. The way he fights is different now. The way he reacts to punches is different now, but it'll either be a Themba Gorimbo finish, which I very highly doubt, or it'll be a very boring decision. No in between. I would say it's a concern if Themba Gorimbo had hands, which he doesn't. I mean, he has a very basic striking package, but Luque's fought way better strikers than him and not gotten knocked out. But this is also a different Vicente Luque. So if anything, maybe a round 3 TKO from Luque having problems with his head. I think that's the only case, honestly. Otherwise, give me Themba Gorimbo by decision, unanimous decision, 30-27. Unless Luque really, really, really has worked on his game and has fully recovered from his brain injury.
Lastly, our featured prelim of the night is Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Smith.
Unc Smith. I love Unc Smith so much, but Unc Smith, you ain't getting this one, man. I'm sorry. On Paper Smith, if On Paper Smith was here, maybe he'd win. You know, the guy who hypothetically beat John Jones and the guy who hypothetically thinks John Jones isn't even good. I don't love John Jones, but God, you smoking crack or something, Anthony Smith. I mean, you look like it, but hey, I love Unc Smith. No talking garbage here. But let me be real. Dominic Reyes had the biggest fall off of all time. He beat John Jones, in my opinion. But hey, it's a loss in his record. And since then, he got knocked out 3 straight times. Finally got one back most recently, knocked out Dustin Jacoby, which is a great win, by the way, to keep him ranked. Now he's fighting against another guy ranked in Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith's chin is made of puppies. Like, bro can't take a shot, but like he's tough. He takes the shot, gets on his back, and then like lets you into his guard because he thinks he can sub you. The only guy I did that against was like absolute flukester stuff where like he jumped on Vitor Petrino's neck and subbed him. I was super happy for that one because Vitor was super cocky, but hey, this isn't happening. It's Dominic Reyes. As long as he performed like he did last, it's going to be knockout in the first round or second round. Probably faster than Khalil even did against Anthony Smith because Khalil takes a while to start cooking, and Dominic Reyes starts cooking. He starts it, and he's cooking. If Anthony Smith finds a way to TKO or sub Dominic Reyes, I feel like I have to just go on the Smith bandwagon of the greatest flukester of all time because I don't understand the way he gets these finishes, but it's Lionheart, so we don't question it, do we? But yeah, I'd say first round finish for Dominic Reyes.
Is Anthony Smith the guy that was talking to Johnny Walker about like attacking his family?
Yes, we remember that. Oh, I love that. Oh, you're attacking my. I think he was trying to motivate himself so that way he actually fought better. But
Like a home invasion or something, wasn't it? Like his family got robbed or something.
there was a point, I think once or twice now, that his family got robbed and he defended against them. I don't think that's what he was referencing. I just think he was trying in his brain to, because Anthony Smith is a very weird character. He's very mentally based, but he's a lot older now. He's not as good as he used to be. He's a little bit washed, especially in the speed and the actual full power of what he used to have. So like I think his game's fully mental based. As long as he has a good mental, he does okay, but he just can't keep up with any good light heavyweight anymore. But yeah, that's the end of the card.